Welcome to another episode of Garden to Table with Rose, and today we are planting bare root strawberries. It is the end of April, and I have been waiting for my strawberry plants. I think they were back ordered or something. They should have come probably about 3 weeks ago, but they just arrived a couple of days ago, so I am going to plant them. I have a boatload of them, let me say. 75, I believe, because when you buy bare root strawberries, one, they're a lot cheaper than buying actual strawberry plants, and they come in bundles of usually 25 from most nurseries, and the bundles are inexpensive. I think, it may have been $15, $17 for 25. So I got mine from Stark Brothers Nursery, which is in Missouri, however you want to pronounce it. And it's a wonderful company. I've just started doing business with them, but I've been very happy with the product. I have been very happy with their customer service. They guarantee all of their plants and trees for 1 year. So if your tree dies or your plant dies within a year, they will reimburse you 125% of the purchase price, I believe. So that's startbros.com. No, they're not paying me to give them a plug, clearly, but I really like that company. So I have 75 strawberry plants, and who knows where I'm going to plant all of them. Right now, I'm going to plant about 30. I think I have 30 pockets in my Greenstalk tower planter. It's a 5-tier planter. And really, this is also kind of an unboxing review of the Greenstalk. I have one already set up. I purchased 2 of these. I have one already set up behind me, and that one has like lettuce and spinach and herbs in it. And I have the second one that I've been saving for the strawberries. With the extras, I actually ordered some strawberry grow bags, which should be coming soon. So I'm going to plant some extras in there. I'm going to tuck a few in different large pots that I have, and just kind of try to plant them where I can, because I hate to waste them. Strawberries come in 3 types. They're June bearing, which means like they pretty much produce all the fruit in June, somewhere around there. And so it's like a big batch all at once, which is nice if you're like canning, doing jams, wine, freezing them, stuff like that. So I appreciate that. But I also like to eat strawberries, so you don't want them all ripe at the same time. You can't, you want to enjoy them over the whole summer. And so therefore you need an ever-bearing type or a day-neutral type where you're going to get strawberries incrementally. So, you get a few each day, maybe once they start ripening throughout the summer. So I got both. I got this Sparkle Strawberry June Bearer and Ozark Beauty Strawberry, which is an ever-bearing strawberry. And then I have another June bearing, which is called Hanoi Strawberry. So these came in a bundle. It was just a bundle of different varieties from Stark Rose. So now before we get started on the details, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, because then you will get alerts of the new videos. And there's a new video every Wednesday. Yay! All right, so when you get these, like I said, they'll be bundled up in some way. Mines were kind of in some moist newspaper. They're going to look like a bunch of twigs or weeds or crap. I mean, they don't look very great. But I am sure that these will bounce back to life once you actually plant them. So what I do is soak them. I soak the whole bundles in some lukewarm water, room temperature water, for at least an hour, a couple of hours, to rehydrate them before planting them. And then basically you're going to try to do this in a way where I don't get them confused. Let's see. So this is my Everbearer. So then you're gonna take the rubber bands off and basically tease them apart, and try to separate them into separate crowns. You see that? So that's one. And there's a little greenery on these. I mean, they're not completely dead looking, but they look sad. I'm serious. So you're going to separate these out. And you know, I imagine you may find some that don't seem like they're worth growing. Maybe they're scrawny. Maybe they look dead. I don't know. They don't have any green on them whatsoever. So, you know, you'll have to make decisions about that. If I find any like that, I may plant just 2 in one pocket of my Greenstalk to, you know, just in case it comes back. But these are quite tangled. The roots are all tangled together, so I'm trying not to break too much of the roots off. You can also trim the roots, from what I understand. If they're too long and crazy looking, you can trim them back to like 4 inches. These look good. I don't think they need to be trimmed. Stark Bros usually does pretty good with their product. And so these are pretty similar to planting bare root trees. I did a video on bare root trees. Now see this one? This is so tiny. It has no roots hardly at all. So I don't think I'll plant that one. But yeah, it's pretty similar to bare root trees in terms of hydrating them, digging the hole, covering them up to the little bulb, or the crown in this case of the strawberry, and then covering with dirt. I'm not going to add any fertilizer or anything like that right away. Bare root strawberries, I think, take a couple of years, I'm pretty sure, to produce anything, because you're starting from the bare minimum here. If you get plants that are already established, you could probably get strawberries maybe even the first year, depending on the plant. So I'm not counting to see if there's 25, but I assume there are. So this is just the first bundle, and I will probably fast forward through the other 2. I know you don't want to see me sit here and separate strawberry plants out. But while I'm talking to you, well, that's another scrawny one. I don't know if I'll plant that one. Look how short their roots are, so I'm not sure about that one. The Greenstalk. So Greenstalk is a US-based company, which I love. I believe they're based out of Tennessee, and I believe it's family owned and run. And so they came up with this 5-tier planter, which I guess is their original planter. And now I think they have a 7-tier one with smaller pockets. But basically, you stack up the tiers like this. There are 5 of them. Each one of those pockets is 10 inches deep, and I think there are 30 pockets. And there is a water reservoir on top with water. It waters the whole system. So it's kind of cool in that respect. And also it's pretty good if you have a small space to garden, because it's basically vertical gardening, right? That's what you have to do. If you don't have a lot of space, you have to plant upwards. Train things to go up instead of sprawling all over. Now for this system, I am going to use a bagged potty mix, which I really never do because bagged potty mixes are pretty pricey. This one was a good price, and I just wanted to try one because I generally don't use them. I haven't used them. So I just wanted to see kind of the difference between this and what I use. And what I use is usually a mix that I just mix up myself because it is a lot more practical. Most of these bagged mixes are just peat moss with some vermiculite or perlite in it to retain moisture, and they may add a fertilizer in there and maybe some kind of organic compost if you're lucky. So it's just really a ratio of those 3 things. So I tend to make my own. Usually it's about 3 parts peat moss to 1 part compost to 1 part perlite or vermiculite. I've been using vermiculite a lot because it's been hard to find perlite around here at my garden centers. But, you know, you get big bags of it from your home stores, your garden stores, and then you just mix it up. hydrated. I mix mine in a wheelbarrow, and then I have a whole batch of it, and I use that. And then I will often top off things with just straight compost. Now, I buy bag compost, which I've talked about before, which is inexpensive, but you really get tired of lugging those bags. I'm telling you, you need so many bags depending on how big your garden is. So you're constantly lifting bags in your car, out of your car, in your car, out of your car. And so I am making my own as well. So I have my compost bin sitting around. I will use that as well as as well as the bag compost. So for this project, we are using Burpee's organic raised garden bed and container mix. All right. Now the Greenstalks come in a big box like this, basically. And I ordered, it was some kind of bundle, and I ordered mine probably in the winter, so I don't think this particular bundle is available now. And it was a good deal. I know it was under $200 for the whole bundle. And the regular price of one of their Greenstalks, at least the price right now on their website, greenstalk.com, is I think $140, $135, somewhere in there. So for, you know, $60 more, I got a number of extra things which might come in handy. So let's just take it out of the box. I just opened the box. This is how it came. On top, this is the water reservoir. And so inside it has little markings. I don't really even know what the markings for. Maybe they're based upon how many tiers you have, because you can put you can put 5 tiers or less. So, but I just usually fill it all the way up. So you got your water reservoir on the top. This also came with a mover, which is a little base with wheels. There's wheels that go in here that you put under it so you can move it around. Now I will tell you, I put the mover on that one and that was a mistake, so I'm gonna have to take it out, and which means I'm gonna have to lift each of those layers off and remove it, because on grass it's pretty useless. This is really just useful if you're on a solid surface like your deck or a concrete patio or something like that. Then you can just push it around. It moves easily. On grass, the wheels just sink into the grass. It's topsy-turvy. It's kind of uneven. So that part I will not be using. I did find out about this thing called a turner. I can't remember the brand, and I haven't gotten it yet. I just ordered it online, but it's some kind of turner, which is a flat saucer, but it has some swivel base built into it, and so it sits pretty flat, and then you can sit your tower on top of it and still turn it. And I wanted to be able to turn it. That was what I thought I was going to be able to do with the wheels, because the sun, you know, shines on a certain side pretty heavily, and you know, I wanted the whole thing to get even sun. So, you know, sometimes you want to rotate it. I rotate mine every couple of weeks so that, you know, all sides get even sun so things can grow evenly. So when I get that, I'll put it under this. But for right now, we're just going to sit it straight on the grass. These are the wheels, the mover wheels. There's 6 wheels, and there's a tube here. This tube is, you can connect it to the mover to drain off any extra water that would normally just run down into the ground. With this tube, you can direct it. So that's if you don't want your patio, whatever you have it on, to get, I guess, wet. You can use that tube. Obviously, I won't need this whole pack this time. These are little water basins, and they have little holes in them. So one of these goes in each tier, and I assume the water from the top reservoir runs down in these, and there are tiny holes in the bottom of each of these that probably corresponds to a pocket, and the water just drips into the pocket. So that's how the watering system works, which is pretty neat. It also came with this instruction manual or a brochure. Let's see. There's a little sample of worm castings, organic fertilizer, which check out my video on making worm fertilizer, vermicomposting. It's a long video on that. So that's what this is. There's a sample. Then they have a plant tag sample, which is cute, but like it is paper outside. That's not gonna last for very long, but it's cute. And then free seeds. A lot of places give you free seeds, and it's usually some kind of lettuce, like a mixed lettuce pack. So you can use those or not in your tower. There's a thank you card, which is so sweet. Their phone number, email address if you have any problems, and a picture of apparently the whole clan. So the whole family is there, and they all look very happy, which is awesome. So it's a family business, which is neat. And then there's a color instruction manual, which is pretty awesome. Look at that. Man, that's nice. So because I've already assembled one of these and started using it, I kind of get the gist of what you're supposed to do. So I don't think I will need the instructions. So we'll set that aside. Now in my, here we go. Wait, let me get these out. These are the towers. Oh, okay. So these are the towers, levels that you stack up, and there are 5 of them. So there's a total of 30 pockets, which means there'll be 6 pockets per each level. And from the instruction manual, it says once this thing is all full of dirt, the entire thing and assemble is like 150 pounds. So you kind of want to assemble it close to where you want it, because it's heavy. You don't want to have to move it. I would recommend, and this is what I'm going to do, fill each layer, spread them all out, fill each layer, plant each layer separately, and then stack them. That just seems to be easiest. Of course, I may need to call my son out to help me with stacking these, because they're pretty heavy, as I recall. When we did the other one, he helped me lift them up, because once you fill them with dirt, they're pretty heavy. And then with my kit, now I got a bundle, remember? And it's an awesome bundle. It's not necessarily that I'll use all of the pieces right now, but in future, who knows? And also these come with a 5-year warranty, I believe. So if in 5 years it warps or cracks or does whatever sitting outside, you can contact the company, and I assume they'll give you a replacement. So I have 3 bags of these, and so there are 3 extenders. So this is called a plant support. So basically these plastic things all connect together, and it creates a support that you can put on whichever level you want. So if you were growing something that needed a support, like tomatoes in here, eggplants or something big, then you might want to use these supports. They'd come in handy. Luckily, I have an in-ground garden too. I have raised garden beds, so I will not be growing anything that tall that would need a support in mines. And my goal, especially for the strawberry planter, is for them to kind of spill over the edge where you can not really see so much of the planter, and it's just this beautiful tree of greenery and flowers and strawberries once they actually, come to fruit. So that is the ideal here. So there are 3 of these, and they come in a nice little, I don't know what this is, muslin, I'll call it muslin bag, drawstring bag to store them in. So that is all that came in this box. Next, I am going to separate these, fill each one you want to fill it almost to the top. Each one is supposed to hold 1 cubic feet of your potting mix, and don't use dirt from the ground. Don't use topsoil. You can't use anything heavy because this is a tiered system. You want something light, and anything that has peat moss in it is going to be pretty light. Peat moss or coconut core is another one that you could use, but you want something that's pretty light and made specifically for raised beds or container gardening, okay? You can make your own or buy it. Now with mine, like I said, since I'm using this bagged product, I am not doing anything to this mix. I am just using it straight up. I am not fertilizing. I'm not adding any fertilizer. I may add some fish emulsion once it starts growing. It gets pretty leafy. So I don't know how much growth is going to happen over this first year. I have no idea because I've never grown strawberries from bare roots. So we will see. But now I'm going to get to it and start planting, and we'll stack it and water it and come back and look at the finished product. I got my tower all situated. I filled each of the 5 layers with 1 bag of that raised bed soil mixture, and it just went to the top, perfect amount, 1 cubic foot for each of these layers. And then the little gray water reservoirs, I put 4 of those. The top layer doesn't have one because it has the main water reservoir. Then I filled this up with water all the way to the top, and slowly the water drips into all of the pockets, and if there's any extra runoff, it just runs out into the grass here. I'm going to come back and water it tomorrow just because I just planted these. But that's it. That was easy peasy. I mean, it took maybe 30 minutes, but I mean, you couldn't get any simpler than that in terms of planting something that hopefully once everything starts to grow and the plants spill over the edges, it's going to be a beautiful kind of yard art, and hopefully the greenery will camouflage a lot of the planters, so you just see this big green tree of plants. So again, this is all strawberries. I have about 20 June bearing and 10 ever bearing strawberry plants in here. In the winter, I will possibly leave this out, put the frost cover on it or cover it with something to protect it, or I will put it in my shed, depending on if I want to lift each layer off of here, because this finished thing filled with dirt and water is like 150 pounds. So I can take it apart and move each layer and put it into my shed, but I might just leave it here, you know, and just kind of wrap it or cover it up with some kind of protection through the winter. All right, so that is all for this episode. The Greenstalk planter, greenstalk.com. Like I said, it's about $140 for just the planter. If you want the mover, that's extra. If you want those plant supports, that's extra. You don't necessarily need those. Like I said, the mover, if you're going to put it on a deck or a concrete patio or something where you want to be able to slide it back and forth, that's good for that. If you're putting it on grass, do not get the mover. It's not going to help you. You can't really use it because it makes it wobbly and it's more likely to tip over. The supports are good if you're growing tall stuff in here. I am not. If you're growing any kind of vining with vegetables or fruits, you know, tomatoes, eggplants, stuff like that, then you might need those supports, which increase the circumference of it, but it's still a small footprint for those of you who live in small spaces like apartments, condos. You know, you have a limited space to grow stuff. These are fantastic. So I may even buy more over the years, but we will see how these two do over the summer. And thank you for tuning in to another episode. Thank you for watching Garden to Table with Rose, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.